Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. We have the latest developments on the COVID-19 crisis. The Northwest Territories reported its first case. Now parts of Canada are looking at restricting their borders inside the country, like the Northwest Territories, which is prohibiting most travel into that part of the country. Today, the health minister warned Canadians their efforts to stop community transmission of the new coronavirus will need to continue for some time yet.
I understand that people are frustrated and they're at home and they're not doing things that they normally do and they're not seeing their loved ones. But now is the time to double down, actually, because 1 week is not enough. We will be in this situation for a while. And I think Canadians need to understand this isn't about 2 weeks of social distancing. This is about months of social distancing.
Outside of Canada, hundreds of stranded Canadian travelers are waiting to see if the federal government will help repatriate them. The Prime Minister is working on a plan to get Canadians abroad out. But more and more countries are shutting down, so airspace and runways are diminishing. As David Akin reports, the Prime Minister admits not everyone will have a way home.
As more and more countries around the world close their airspace or shut down airports, the federal government in Canada is scrambling to do whatever it can to repatriate Canadians abroad who want to come home.
We're working with Canadian airlines to make commercial flights available for as many Canadians who are stranded as possible. We will also be working with other countries to ensure that our airlines have the permissions and other supports necessary to fly.
Air Canada, for example, landed a plane Saturday afternoon in Morocco and will take a plane load of Canadians from that North African country to Montreal on Sunday. Trudeau also said the government expects to secure flights with returning Canadians from Peru, despite Peru's decision to ban all flights in its airspace. Canada is also looking to get flights home from Spain, and other countries may follow. But Trudeau also had this warning.
Now, we won't be able to reach everyone, but we're going to do our best to help those we can.
The advice now for Canadians abroad: register with Global Affairs Canada. Keep your smartphone charged and be ready for a text, email, or phone call. And there was a special message for retired Canadians who spend their winters in the sunny south.
I would like to say a word to our beloved snowbirds. I want to remind them that they should return to Canada as soon as possible, especially as flights become increasingly scarce. And I want to reassure them that the border will always be open for them to return back home in Canada.
Meanwhile, the first move was made to restrict the travel of Canadians within Canada. The government of the Northwest Territories, shortly before announcing its first confirmed case, said it would block all non-essential travel into the territory, a move supported by Ottawa. Every province and regional health authority has the same power to do the same thing, to shut off borders or to put up barriers at a city limit, though the federal health minister resisted the idea of a broad-based, inside-the-country restriction.
It does not make sense from my perspective as a health minister to put an entire country on lockdown if, in fact, we don't have the need to do so from a science perspective. In fact, it could create even more harm.
But even though Haidu argued against tighter interprovincial or interregional travel restrictions, Haidu was adamant on this point time and again. Stay at home. Please keep your social distance and be prepared to do just that for weeks. Robin?
David Akin in Ottawa. Thanks, David. We know you have lots of questions about this virus. Our Jeff Semple will continue to consult with experts and try to answer them. Email your questions at globalnews.ca. And on our website, you'll find a special page dedicated entirely to the new coronavirus. That's at globalnews.ca/coronavirus.